Tin from K-On here. Today we're going to have a look at HiLux Fortuna recovery points, and we're going to do an install on a Fortuna. Let's have a closer look at our recovery point here. So a 5,000 tonne recovery point, working load limit. What we've done is we've CNC machined the point, put some nice soft curves in for soft shackles and a nice big opening, and we've just made it look really nice. All finished off in a really nice textured red powder coat. This vehicle has no bull bar, but the first thing we need to do is actually to remove some of these splash guards. We'll just get those out. Should be able to just remove these ones here, just give us enough access for the mounting points, which are up in here. The recovery points mount directly to the chassis underneath the sway bar mounts. So we need to drop down the sway bars, just remove them down. And a nice little tip is to actually remove the bolts on both sides and drop the sway bar on both sides. It gives you a nice big gap. I've already actually dropped down the other side already. We're ready to install the recovery point. Now we're mounting onto this M12 position and this M12 captive nut, and also the mounts underneath the chassis. The top mount there needs a spacer, so grab your spacer. So we're gonna weave it up in there and make sure we get it underneath that mount. I'm just gonna hold that spacer in there, grab my M12 bolt with Nordlock washers and line everything up. Okay, should be able to get that top one in first, and that should hold it all in place for me. Now we just want to loosely get all this in. That's good. And the M10 as well. Now we want to get the M10. We're going to sandwich the recovery point between the mount and the chassis. Whoop. Let's hold it there. And the one on the back as well. Okay, go get some tools and tighten everything up. You've got your points up there, you've got your bolts all in place and all nipped up. Now it's time to torque all the bolts to the recommended setting in the fitting instructions. Let's go do that, quite important. All torqued up, now we put it all back together. Now it's up to you if you want to trim this little mud flap here. Probably only needs about 5 or 10 millimeters trimmed off that. We're just going to leave this one as is. Just put these clips back in. Put that in place. Once you've done that, make sure you put your warning labels on there on both sides. This is a little safety warning. So all done and dusted, these are the HiLux Fortuna recovery points installed. Now, whenever you're using recovery points, we always recommend that you check for any sort of damage, and also after you've finished using it, make sure your bolts or any sort of damage to these recovery points, you need to sort of inspect those as well. We also recommend you use both recovery points where possible with a bridle. Just makes the recoveries much more gentler on your vehicle. So there you go, the K-On recovery points for HiLux Fortuna.